All right, so here is a brief review of Perfect Days, a movie directed by Wim Wenders and released late last year, 2023. It's nominated for Best International Picture at the 2024 Oscars. I think it's a worthy nominee. I enjoyed the movie. I recommend it. I don't think it's good enough, worthy enough to be in the Best Picture category. I think it's where it should be. It's directed by Wim Wenders, as I said, co-written by him as well, along with another creative. I've always admired Paris, Texas, and that's the movie that put him on the proverbial map. He hasn't really had any hits of that caliber since then. I don't think Perfect Days is on the same level as Paris, Texas. It follows the life of Hirayama, an older Japanese man who lives a very modest and routine life. He works as a public toilet cleaner in Tokyo. He's living his best life. He takes joy in simple things like taking photos of tree canopies every day, and listening to cassette tapes of classics from the late 60s to mid 70s, reading Faulkner, Japanese versions of Faulkner's book every night before he goes to sleep. If I were to describe him in 3 words, I would say Japanese toilet Santa. He's an older man, kind. He brings joy in little ways to people around him. He takes joy in little things. And that's really the bulk of the movie. We get a sense of maybe he hasn't really had the smoothest life. Wenders does a really good job of establishing that Hirayama is living his best life for the most part. It's not glamorous, but it's great for him. But if the entire movie is like that, it wouldn't be that compelling. There has to be some kind of conflict, something that makes us wonder or maybe even worry about what might happen. And so if I were to describe this central conflict, if I were to pose it as a story question, I would say, can Hirayama continue to live his best life despite factors that might totally disrupt it, that might turn his life in irreversible ways for the worse? It's all plausible. I think it'll have a cult following of people of all ages, people who are old enough to have seen Paris, Texas at the time of its release, like 40 years ago, and then also people who are kind of into anime. It takes place in Japan, and it's all in Japanese, except for like occasional lines of dialogue and the music, which is Western. If you're a classic rock fan, you'll recognize most of the songs, or even jazz. That kind of plays into the character of Hirayama. If you're looking for action, drama, like really dramatic events, then maybe steer away from Perfect Days. There's no set pieces, no huge budget. Watch Perfect Days and then watch Paris, Texas. That's my recommendation.